Hello, it's Christian Cassidy recording my Week 5 lecture response for the 18th and 19th century theater. So the first thing that I learned was the conversion of play styles to represent the large middle class that was developed by the Industrial Revolution. So now plays were, instead of reflecting religion or honor or chivalry, it was more of a realistic and more of a mirror to the people. So it showed more of what life was more melodramatic and sentimental. Specifically in that time period, as a result of the Industrial Revolution, as the middle class began to grow very quickly. So the second thing was a unified director. So instead of having a playwright that took over or a head actor, it was done by a single person, a director basically. And I never really would have assumed that happened so soon, or I kind of just figured playwrights would just naturally become. I didn't realize it was a different role, I guess. So now that having a definitive one that a unified structure for the play would come into. So now they were under a singular head, and the entirety of the production was streamlined, I guess, would probably make it a little more simple, but so I just kind of never thought they were going to be any directors and playwrights would be any different, or actors, but it was cool to see it come as a universal role so early. And then finally, the universal hand gesturing. So with Francois de Sarthe, he talked about how actors would have specific hand symbols to represent certain emotions. So I know actors can, or playwrights and directors can mess with facial expression, tone, dissonance, delivery, stance, stage direction, but now they had hand motion to add on to that. So now the audience had a whole other level that people could pick up on and read from the emotion of the hand, and they could stack that with everything else the director wanted to see to really drive home the emotions and feeling of the actors and of the writing. So I just thought that was really cool that they were pre-existing hand motions that would solidify the emotions of the actors in the plays. So questions, I had the fourth wall as one of my questions. So was that developed to simplify the plays for a less educated audience, a fourth wall break? Specifically is what I want to talk about. So did the playwrights need these, a fourth wall break, to directly speak to the audience, form a connection? Because I know the middle class likely didn't have as high of an education as theater goers used to have in the 1400s, as I was a little more upper class, and it wasn't as common for lower income individuals to attend theater unless it was a commedia dell'arte or stage street actors. So I just was wondering if they developed a fourth wall break so they could directly speak with the audience to form a connection or drive home emotions or storylines. And secondly, what made plays more popular to be long run? So instead of doing one-offs or 2 or 3 days in a row, what made people start to want to see the same play for over a long period of time? I know the Addams Family is really popular in high school, or the Little Mermaid. Now Little Shop of Horrors is a big deal now. People every year, there's usually a couple high schools in the area, or even some colleges that run through those plays on a rotation. Was it more just those were the most popular, people requested them more, or was it more profitable to make small adjustments to long-standing scripts, and you could just make little changes to the actors' dressing, delivery, and that you could put your own little touch on it instead of having to develop entirely new plays? So I was just wondering what made that, what was really the deciding factor? Was it the people, or was it just, I guess sticking to your guns is a better way to put it, for directors and playwrights? Was that was it easier or cheaper, I guess? Finally, the thing that I found interesting was, again, another time of unrest led to a massive jump in enlightenment. So in comparison, sinking of the Spanish Armada, explosion of art and history and beauty in Spain. The same thing with the American Revolution, French Indian War, 7 Years' War, the French Revolution, all kind of hit right before another huge jump away from neoclassical ideas. Before they made the jump towards where to become now, with more of the romanticism, reflection of the people, the operetta, that kind of play style. So I thought it was cool how another time of unrest led to another jump in the popularity of play style, and a complete trade-off of a change from where it had started. So I thought that was interesting. So that is my Week 5 lecture and response for 18th and 19th century theater. Thanks.